Harold pushed his cleaning cart slowly down the long shiny corridors of Aurora Prime. The space station was enormous, a giant metal city floating in the endless black of space. Scientists rushed past him, carrying tablets and data pads, talking in hurried voices about galaxies, black holes, and cosmic energy. Harold didn't understand most of it, and he didn't need to. His job was simple. Keep the station clean, fix broken lights, and make sure the floors didn't sparkle with dust when someone important walked by. He liked his work. There was a quiet rhythm to it. The sound of the vacuum rolling across the metallic floors, the soft swish of a mop, and the occasional clang of a dropped wrench. Harold liked these small sounds. They made him feel steady, like even in the vast emptiness of space, he had a place where things were normal. One evening, as the station glowed under the distant light of a nearby star, Harold was sweeping the observation deck. This was a part of the station he liked best. From the large windows, he could see the stars spread across the black sky like diamonds on black velvet. Planets floated silently, and sometimes a passing ship left a bright streak across the darkness. He liked watching it all, feeling tiny but alive in a universe so vast. That's when he noticed something unusual. In the corner of the observation deck, near a vent he had dusted many times before, a small dust bunny moved on its own. Harold froze, broom in hand. "That's weird," he muttered to himself. Dust bunnies didn't move. They didn't glow either, but this one did. A soft, golden light pulsed from inside it, tiny sparks flickering like fireflies trapped in a tiny ball. Harold knelt down slowly, not wanting to scare it away. The dust bunny didn't run. Instead, it seemed to watch him, almost curious. He reached out a finger, hesitating for a moment. "What are you?" he whispered. When his finger touched the edge of the glowing dust, he felt a tiny vibration, almost like a heartbeat. The light inside shimmered brighter, making him blink in surprise. For a moment, Harold forgot to breathe. All around him, the hum of the station faded. The scientists' voices, the distant whir of engines, even the soft creak of the station walls seemed to vanish. There was only him and this small glowing thing in the corner. He gently picked it up. It was lighter than air, soft and warm and somehow alive. He didn't know how to explain it. Maybe it was some strange new experiment gone wrong, or maybe it was just a trick of the light. But deep inside, Harold felt something strange. Something told him this dust bunny was not ordinary. He could feel it in his chest, a mix of excitement and fear. He had seen a lot of strange things on Aurora Prime, but never anything like this. Usually, the scientists noticed things first, but this time he had discovered it. Just him, a simple janitor, and something extraordinary hidden in the corner of a room. Harold decided to keep it secret. He carefully placed the dust bunny in a small empty box in his cart. "Nobody can see this," he whispered. The station was full of people who would study it, take it apart, and maybe destroy it. Harold didn't want that. Whatever it was, it felt alive. It deserved to be safe. He continued his cleaning, pushing the cart quietly down the corridor, pretending everything was normal. Scientists walked past, nodding at him, completely unaware of what he had found. Harold smiled to himself. Sometimes he thought it was better to be invisible. Being a janitor had its advantages. Nobody expected him to notice the little things. Nobody expected him to understand them. By the time he returned to his small quarters, Harold had made up his mind. He would watch over the dust bunny. He didn't know why it chose him or what it truly was, but he felt a strange connection to it, like they were both small and unnoticed in a huge universe. Maybe he thought being small didn't matter. Maybe even small things could be important. He placed the dust bunny gently on his desk, keeping it away from the harsh lights of the station. The glow was soft now, almost calming. Harold sat back in his chair, looking out the window at the stars, feeling the hum of the station under his feet. Tomorrow he would continue his work. But tonight he had a secret, and it made him feel powerful. Not in the way the scientists were powerful, with knowledge and machines, but in a quiet, steady way. Harold, the ordinary janitor, had found something extraordinary. And for the first time in his life, he felt that maybe his small, unnoticed life could touch the infinite. Harold woke early the next day before the station's alarms even rang. The small dust bunny still rested on his desk, glowing softly like a tiny sun trapped in fur. He stared at it, curious and careful. Something inside him told him that this was not ordinary dust. He had seen stars, planets, and galaxies from the observation deck, but nothing had ever felt so alive and small all at once. He reached out again, just a fingertip brushing the glowing surface. The dust bunny shivered in his hand, like it had recognized him. To Harold's astonishment, a tiny ripple spread from it, and the air around him seemed to shimmer. He squinted and gasped. Inside the dust, he could see movement, spinning lights, tiny clusters of stars, and even little planets circling invisible suns. It was a galaxy. A real, living galaxy no bigger than the palm of his hand. Harold could not believe his eyes. He shook his head, thinking it might be a trick of the light or a projection from the station's systems. But when he gently rotated the dust bunny, the galaxy inside followed his movements, as if it were contained in a liquid globe. The stars twinkled, the planets rotated, and tiny flashes of light traveled along invisible paths. It was perfect and real. He sat down slowly, holding the dust bunny carefully on his lap. This can't be possible, he whispered. But deep down Harold knew it was true. He had touched something no human had ever touched before. Something alive, something enormous, yet so small that it could hide in a simple corner of the station. For hours Harold watched the galaxy. He noticed small details. One planet had a tiny blue ocean, another glowed with green light. Some stars flickered as if they were breathing. He realized the galaxy was aware of him. When he moved, it reacted. When he whispered, the light seemed to pulse. He had found not just a galaxy but a being. Something alive and fragile, hidden in the most ordinary place he had ever known. By the afternoon, Harold knew he could not leave it where it was. Scientists would notice the energy readings and they would take it apart, slice it, or study it until it died. Harold had seen what they did to strange particles and exotic life before. They never understood, they only experimented. He could not let that happen. This galaxy, tiny as it was, deserved protection. So he carried it carefully in a small box, padded with soft cloth. The box was light as air, but he handled it as though it were heavy with importance. Every step he took, every door he passed, he was aware of its presence. The galaxy seemed to hum with life, sending faint sparks of light through the cloth. Harold felt a strange warmth in his chest. He was not just a janitor anymore. He was a guardian. He tried small experiments. Tilting the box slightly made the tiny planets wobble but never fall. He spoke to it softly, wondering if it could understand words. Sometimes the glow brightened, and he felt a faint pulse through the box as if it was listening. Harold realized it trusted him. It had chosen him, or maybe he had stumbled upon it at just the right moment. Even during his cleaning rounds, Harold was careful. He moved slowly, avoiding crowded areas. Scientists passed him, lost in their own work, oblivious to the miracle he carried. He smiled to himself. This was a secret too big to tell, too delicate to share. And for the first time in his life, Harold felt proud of being unnoticed. Sometimes being small had advantages. That evening, Harold returned to his quarters, exhausted but exhilarated. He placed the box on his desk and sat beside it, staring at the galaxy. The glow filled the room with soft light, reflecting in his eyes. He imagined what it might be like on the planets inside. Oceans, forests, mountains, maybe even tiny forms of life. The thought made him both excited and nervous. The galaxy was fragile, delicate as a soap bubble in the wind, yet it carried endless possibilities within it. He spent the night studying it. Every movement, every flicker of light fascinated him. He could feel its heartbeat, small but steady, a rhythm that matched his own. Harold understood that even something so enormous as a galaxy could be gentle, even playful. He laughed quietly at the thought, a janitor talking to a galaxy. Yet it felt natural. He felt needed, important, and alive in a way he never had before. By dawn, Harold made a decision. He could not let anyone else touch it. Not the scientists, not the commander, not even himself if he was careless. He had to protect it. For the first time he realized that some discoveries were bigger than fame, bigger than knowledge, bigger than science itself. Some discoveries were about care, responsibility, and trust. The galaxy pulsed softly as if responding to his thoughts. Harold smiled and whispered, "Don't worry, I'll keep you safe." And in that quiet room on a floating space station, a human janitor and a tiny cosmic galaxy began a secret friendship, one that could change the course of his life forever. Outside, the stars continued to shine, oblivious to the small miracle hidden within the station. Harold looked out the window and felt the vastness of space around him. It was frightening, endless, and cold, but with the galaxy in his hands he was not alone. He had a purpose, a mission, and a secret that was more precious than anything else in the universe. And so, the ordinary janitor, the man who swept floors and fixed lights, became the guardian of something extraordinary, a galaxy hidden inside a simple dust bunny, waiting for the day its story would truly unfold. For a few days Harold thought he could keep the galaxy hidden. He went about his work quietly, sweeping corridors, polishing floors, and fixing broken lights, all while carrying the small box with him wherever he went. The dust bunny with the galaxy inside seemed calm, almost comfortable, resting in the padded box he had made. Harold had begun to feel a deep connection to it, like it depended on him completely. But the station was big and nothing stayed hidden forever. One morning, while Harold was cleaning near the main lab, the sensors on the station began to beep loudly. Red lights flashed on the walls, and a soft voice from the control system announced an energy anomaly in Harold's sector. Scientists hurried toward him, their faces serious. Harold froze, hiding the box behind his back. "What is going on here?" one of them demanded, eyes scanning the corridor. "Energy readings are off the charts. Someone is hiding something." Harold felt his heart race. He wanted to say nothing, to act like any ordinary janitor, but the glow from the box was faintly visible beneath his jacket. The scientists were already suspicious. One of them stepped closer, a tall woman with sharp eyes, and noticed the small light flickering. "What do you have there?" she asked, pointing at him. Harold swallowed hard. He could not tell them the truth. If he did, they would take the galaxy, study it, and possibly destroy it. The thought made his stomach twist. "Just some cleaning supplies," he said, hoping his voice sounded calm. The woman raised an eyebrow. "Cleaning supplies don't glow like that, Harold. Don't try to hide it." Harold's mind raced. He had to protect it. He stepped back toward the corridor, holding the box tightly. I don't know what you mean," he said, trying to sound steady. But the galaxy pulsed in response to his fear, brightening suddenly, and the light spilled onto the walls. The scientists gasped. The glow was unmistakable now, swirling inside the box like a tiny storm of stars. One of the younger researchers reached out, but Harold stepped in front of the box, shaking his head. "No. You can't touch it. Please." The commander's voice came over the intercom. "Contain the anomaly immediately. We cannot risk any unknown energy source in the station." Harold's heart sank. The situation was serious. The station wanted to take the galaxy away, and if they did, it might not survive. He had never thought about breaking rules before, but now he had no choice. He had to escape. He glanced around the corridor. Security drones floated nearby, and cameras followed every move. Harold took a deep breath, holding the box close to his chest. "I have to protect it," he whispered. The galaxy pulsed in response, almost like it understood. Harold ran. He darted down a narrow maintenance corridor, weaving past scientists and robots. The galaxy glowed brighter, responding to his fear and urgency. Tiny sparks of starlight flickered through the air as he moved. It was alive, fragile, and beautiful, and he could not let it be captured. He used every shortcut he knew, slipping through service elevators and air ducts. The station was enormous, and only someone who knew the hidden paths could move quickly without being caught. Harold had worked there for years, and he used that knowledge now to his advantage. As he ran, he realized something else. The galaxy reacted to him, not just to his fear but to his determination. The stars inside shifted slightly, creating light patterns that seemed almost like a guide, showing him the safest route. Harold smiled faintly. He wasn't just protecting it, they were working together. The alarm continued to sound, echoing through the station. Drones floated down the corridors, scanning for him. Scientists called out, but Harold ignored them. His mind was focused entirely on keeping the galaxy safe. He could feel it vibrating in the box, small pulses of energy that made his hands tingle. It trusted him completely. He could not fail. Finally, after what felt like hours but was only minutes, Harold reached a quiet section of the station, a small storage bay rarely used. He hid the box behind crates and took a moment to catch his breath. The galaxy's glow was softer now, almost as if it had calmed down after the panic. Harold knelt beside it, running a hand gently over the box. "I won't let them take you," he whispered. "Not ever." He realized then that the challenge was bigger than he had thought. The station would not stop searching. Scientists and security were determined, and they had the power to take the galaxy by force. Harold understood that he could not remain on the station if he wanted to protect it. He had to leave. The thought made him nervous but also determined. For the first time, Harold felt a real purpose. He had discovered something incredible, something that could change the understanding of the universe. But more importantly, he had a responsibility to protect it, even if it meant risking everything. Harold looked at the tiny galaxy shimmering inside the box. Stars spun, planets rotated, and tiny flashes of light moved along invisible paths. He smiled softly. "We'll get out of here," he said. "Somewhere safe where no one can harm you." The galaxy pulsed in response, almost like a heartbeat. Harold realized that they were not alone in this. Together, they could face whatever challenges lay ahead. And as the alarms blared and scientists searched, Harold made a silent promise. He would protect this galaxy with everything he had, no matter the cost. And so, the ordinary janitor became more than a cleaner of floors. He became the protector of a tiny universe, the guardian of a secret so extraordinary that no one else could understand. The real adventure was only beginning, and Harold knew that leaving the station was the only way to keep the galaxy alive. Harold waited until the station's alarms had quieted slightly before making his move. The glow of the tiny galaxy in his box seemed to pulse faster, as if it knew the danger wasn't over. He carefully lifted the box and checked the corridor. The drones had returned to their patrols, and the scientists were still searching in the main labs. It was the perfect moment to slip away. He moved quietly using the maintenance tunnels he knew so well. These narrow passages were almost invisible to the station's security cameras, and the cleaning staff rarely used them. Harold had spent years learning every corner of Aurora Prime, and now that knowledge was his greatest weapon. Every twist and turn, every service elevator, every hidden duct became a path to freedom. The galaxy pulsed softly, almost nervously as they moved together. Harold whispered to it, "Don't worry. We're almost out." The tiny stars inside shimmered brighter, responding to his calm voice. Somehow he felt that it understood him. They were partners now, bound together by trust and necessity. As he approached the shuttle bay, Harold realized the biggest challenge was still ahead. The bay was guarded, and the docking area was busy with automated maintenance drones. Any sudden movement could trigger alarms, and the commander had already ordered full containment of the anomaly. He had to be careful or they would take the galaxy from him. Harold crouched behind a stack of cargo crates and watched the patrol route of the drones. Their mechanical eyes scanned the area, moving back and forth with precision. Timing was everything. He waited for a moment when a drone turned away, then sprinted across the open floor, holding the box tightly. The galaxy glowed brighter as if encouraging him. He reached the shuttle quietly, wiping sweat from his forehead. The ship was small, a simple craft used for cargo transfers, but it would be enough. Harold climbed inside, placed the galaxy carefully on the seat beside him, and sealed the hatch. The control panel beeped, and he began the slow startup sequence. Every second felt like an hour. Outside, the drones hovered, scanning, but Harold remained still until the warning lights disappeared. Finally, the engines roared to life. The shuttle lifted from its dock, and Harold guided it through the station corridors. The galaxy inside the box pulsed steadily now, as if sensing the motion, adjusting its tiny planets and stars to the acceleration. Harold smiled. They were moving, escaping danger, and no one could stop them. The station's alarms flared again as the security systems realized the anomaly had moved. Drones swarmed the bay, but Harold had already reached the outer ring. He pushed the shuttle into a narrow maintenance shaft leading to open space. The stars outside stretched in long streaks as the engines burned brightly. Harold's heart raced, but he felt exhilarated. Freedom was close. As he entered the void of space, Harold carefully monitored the galaxy. The tiny planets spun faster and light flared across the box, casting colors on the shuttle's walls. It was alive, vibrant, and fragile. He whispered, "We're safe now, almost." The galaxy seemed to hum in reply, a soft energy that made him feel less alone. Harold knew the station would pursue him if they could, but he had a head start. The shuttle could travel through unmonitored paths, using small, hidden propulsion routes to avoid detection. For the first time, Harold felt the thrill of adventure, something he had never imagined for himself. He had gone from a janitor to a fugitive protector of a galaxy. Hours passed as he navigated through asteroid fields and debris clouds. The galaxy remained stable, though the stars inside flickered with every sharp turn. Harold became more careful, moving slowly when needed, letting the tiny universe adjust to the journey. Every careful movement reminded him how precious this galaxy was. One mistake and it could be lost forever. Finally, he reached a quiet sector of space, far from the station and its patrols. Harold turned off the engines, letting the shuttle drift among the stars. The galaxy in the box pulsed softly, brighter now, almost like a sigh of relief. Harold leaned back in his seat, exhausted but smiling. He had done it. He had protected it. He looked out at the vast universe around him. Endless stars, distant planets, and dark voids stretched in every direction. But for the first time, Harold didn't feel small. He felt part of something larger, something miraculous. A janitor, a caretaker, and a guardian of a hidden galaxy. The tiny universe inside the box shimmered, spinning slowly as if thanking him. Harold whispered, "We're together now. I'll keep you safe no matter what." For the first time, he realized that being ordinary did not mean being powerless. Even a janitor, unnoticed and small, could make a difference in the infinite universe. Harold settled into the shuttle, watching the tiny galaxy in his hands. Outside, stars moved silently, indifferent to human concerns, but inside the craft, a secret miracle existed. He had escaped danger, outsmarted the station, and become the protector of a living galaxy. The journey ahead was uncertain. He didn't know where he would go or what dangers awaited. But Harold felt ready. With the galaxy in his hands, he had a purpose greater than anything he had ever imagined. And as the shuttle drifted through the endless black of space, Harold knew this was only the beginning of an adventure that could change everything, for him and perhaps for the universe itself. Harold floated in the quiet of space, the shuttle drifting gently among the stars. Outside the windows, distant planets glimmered, and the black void stretched endlessly in every direction. For the first time in his life, Harold felt truly free. He had escaped the station, avoided capture, and, most importantly, protected the tiny galaxy hidden inside the glowing dust bunny. The galaxy rested on the seat beside him, spinning slowly, its stars flickering like tiny candles in the dark. Harold watched in awe as planets rotated, some blue and green, some glowing softly with colors he had never seen. It was alive, delicate, and beautiful, and he felt a deep responsibility for it. This was no longer just a discovery, it was a life he had sworn to protect. He reached out and gently touched the box. The galaxy pulsed softly, like a heartbeat in his hands. Harold smiled, realizing that even the smallest actions mattered. Every careful movement, every whisper, every thought of care seemed to ripple through the tiny universe inside. Somehow, it understood him and he understood it. Harold thought about the station he had left behind. The scientists and the commander would never understand. They saw life as data, experiments, or energy sources, not as something to protect. But Harold was different. He had been ordinary, unnoticed, and underestimated. A janitor. Yet here he was, entrusted with something extraordinary. He realized that humanity's strength was not only in intelligence or technology, it was in compassion, courage, and the ability to care for what others overlooked. Days passed as Harold navigated through uncharted space. He used the shuttle's small engines sparingly, drifting slowly so the galaxy could adjust to the new environment. The tiny universe seemed calm now, its stars steady and planets balanced. Harold sometimes whispered stories to it, stories of his life, of the people he had known, and even of the station he had left behind. He was surprised to see that it seemed to respond. Tiny pulses of light would flash when he spoke, flickering in rhythm with his words. It was as if the galaxy recognized him as its guardian. He also began to notice changes in himself. He no longer felt ordinary. He felt alert, resourceful, and confident. He had faced danger, outsmarted the station's security, and kept a galaxy alive. These were things no ordinary human had done before. For the first time, Harold realized that even the smallest person could have an enormous impact. Even a janitor could be a hero. One evening, as the shuttle drifted past a field of colorful nebulae, Harold noticed something extraordinary. A tiny spark of light, much smaller than the galaxy, emerged from the box and floated toward him. It hovered in the air, forming shapes that looked like miniature stars. Harold watched in amazement as the galaxy seemed to communicate with him through these lights. He could not understand the language, but he felt its message clearly: trust, courage, and togetherness. Harold laughed softly. He had always thought of himself as invisible, a man who swept floors and fixed lights. But now, in the vastness of space, he was anything but invisible. He was the protector of a universe, a guardian of life that no one else even knew existed. And with that realization came a sense of pride he had never felt before. He spent the next weeks exploring safe areas of space, avoiding patrols from the station and floating cargo ships. Harold found quiet pockets where the galaxy could expand slightly, its stars glowing brighter, its planets spinning with ease. Sometimes he imagined that one day, life might develop inside those planets, small forms of existence growing under the light of their tiny suns. And he knew he would be there to protect them. Harold also thought about what he had learned from the galaxy. He realized that even in the vast, cold universe, there were things worth caring for. Small beings, unnoticed wonders, and fragile lives. Humans often overlooked the small and simple, but Harold had learned the opposite. That greatness could hide in the smallest of forms, and even ordinary people could rise to extraordinary challenges. As the shuttle floated silently, Harold looked out the window at the endless blackness. He felt calm, confident, and hopeful. He was no longer just a janitor. He was a guardian, a caretaker, and a hero in his own quiet way. The galaxy pulsed beside him, stars spinning and planets rotating, alive and safe under his watch. He whispered softly, "We'll keep going, together." And in that moment Harold understood something profound. The universe was vast and often dangerous, but humanity's greatest strength lay in its ability to protect, to care, and to act with courage even when unnoticed. He had started as an ordinary janitor, but he had proven that ordinary people could do extraordinary things. The tiny galaxy pulsed one last time for the night, a soft golden glow filling the shuttle. Harold smiled, feeling a bond that went beyond words. Somewhere in the infinite darkness, he and the galaxy were not alone. They had each other, and that was enough. The shuttle drifted onward, carrying Harold and the galaxy deeper into space. The stars outside shone brilliantly, but none as brightly as the tiny universe in his hands. And for the first time Harold knew that he had a purpose far greater than himself. A mission to protect something miraculous, fragile, and beautiful. Harold, the janitor who once swept floors and fixed lights, had become the guardian of a galaxy. And in the vast, endless universe he finally understood what it meant to be extraordinary.